Hello everybody, welcome back to another One Piece chapter review. Today we'll be talking about chapter 1096, and this chapter is absolutely incredible despite the fact that it's basically just a roll call of all of the best pirates in the world of One Piece. But before we get on to that, I do quickly want to discuss the chapter cover, which is a reader's request for a picture of Zoro losing a game of musical chairs to a group of chihuahuas, which I don't understand why Zoro would have been playing musical chairs with chihuahuas, but the thought of him losing and then being absolutely furious is so funny to me. But we're going to move on from that and talk about the chapter itself, which is so good. Because we carry on straight from where we left off in the last chapter, as we see the Holy Knights hunting down the people of God Valley, one after another, and there's something very interesting about the Holy Knights in this chapter. We see the design of a few more of them, and it's actually interesting to note that all of these Holy Knights were actually orphans at the same orphanage as Big Mum, which is quite surprising to me because I kind of thought they were dead. I thought they were still there when Big Mum went into a eating frenzy and sort of wiped them out, but turns out she didn't, and they are now Holy Knights. I suppose they could be not the same people, but I very much doubt that. But moving on, as we also see Garp, who's been given orders to go lend a hand to the Celestial Dragons, who are currently in a slight bit of trouble, as Rox is going straight for God Valley, and he isn't really interested in going, to be honest, but as soon as he learns Roger's going to be there, he gets ready to go. Although, before we discuss that, I'd quickly like to talk about Ivankov in this chapter, because he is absolutely incredible and does something so good. He lets everyone know that they're basically done for. The Celestial Dragons aren't going to let any of them live, and even when it's down to just 3 slaves left, they're not going to let them go free. They're going to die. They're all going to die. So Ivankov rallies a troop, and they head for the middle of the island, where the pawpaw fruit is, and so is Kaido's fruit, the Azure Dragon fruit. Fruits that are so powerful, it would actually allow them all to escape. Kuma, Ginny, Ivankov, that one fish man that appeared in this episode, they'd all be able to get past the Celestial Dragons if they just ate one of these fruits. So that's the plan. They're going to try and get one. But before that, it's time for a roll call because Rox's crew has shown up. Rox, we don't see him, but we see his crew. So I'm going to list them off one by one. Here I go. Whitebeard, Stussy, Big Mum, Kaido, Shiki, Gloriosa, Captain John, and a few other zombies that appeared in Thriller Bark as humans at this point, but they were zombies in Thriller Bark, unnamed ones, so we don't know what they're called. Aside from Captain John, they're all unnamed. But they're here, like we've got one in the background with his claws out, and we've got the big guy in the warrior armor. And I'm just gonna be honest, I find this really cool that the Rocks Pirates is just made up of notorious pirates that we've seen in One Piece before, especially Gloriosa, because we knew that she left Amazonia when she was younger before she would die. But to think she's actually a member of the Rocks Pirates, that is so cool to me. It's before she got small when she became old. So cool. I like that. And I like the fact that Captain John's in there. I like the fact that Shiki's there. Overall, it's just cool. But moving on now, because both Roger and Garp have arrived, ready to fight each other probably, although Garp also has to defend the Celestial Dragons from imminent danger, even though he probably really doesn't want to. And of course, we have Ivankov and Kuma, who have just got their hands on some very nice devil fruits. Kuma, of course, having the pawpaw fruit, and Ivankov having the Azure Dragon fruit, which currently belongs to Kaido, but at the moment Ivankov has it, although before he can eat it, he has his head smashed into a wall by Big Mum, and Kuma eats the pawpaw fruit before being attacked by one of the 5 elders. That elder, of course, being everyone's favourite spider boy, Sir J. Garcia Saturn, and he is very mean by here, saying some very bad things to Kuma, such as his species were only meant to die or be born into slavery. So, pretty harsh, pretty not cool. And you know what, I'm going to say it now, St. J. Garcia Saturn is a bit of an arsehole, but doesn't matter because we have a cut The battle has ended, and Kuma managed to save 500 people, and him, Ginny, are now living in a church together while Ivankov makes the most of his freedom by going straight off to the sea. And now it's really hard to say what happens after this point, because we do see Kuma helping a lot of people, so that's maybe how he brought up more followers and then eventually became a king, but it's hard to say who is Bonnie's mother. Now, my current guess is Ginny. I did see someone say that Ginny was Luffy's mother, but that could go either way because we don't know how old Dragon is at this time. So, you know, it's really hard to say. Although at the moment, I've got a feeling that Ginny is going to be Kuma's wife at some point, and then that's how Bonnie would come to be, but I really couldn't say. Which is why I kind of hope we get a direct continuation of Kuma's story next chapter, but I very much doubt that we will. I think we'll be going straight back to Egghead Island and seeing what happens with St. J. Garcia Satin and Luffy and everyone, because now that we've skipped over the God Valley incident, I don't think there is much to say about Kuma. Although, maybe we'll get another chapter dedicated to him, I hope so, but it's hard to say if we will. However, that is the end of the chapter, but before I go, I do quickly want to discuss a few things about this chapter, like the fact that Oda skipped over the God Valley incident, and I actually don't have a problem with this. I could see people being upset with this, but I don't have a problem with it, because Oda does this a lot. He'll skip over very, crucial fights and stuff, but that allows us to build them in our head, which I suppose you could say is lazy storytelling, but I think it works better this way, and I don't mind him skipping over it. We kind of know what happened anyways, so it's fine. And another major problem I have with a lot of One Piece chapters is the paneling, which can be a little messy sometimes, but in this chapter it was pretty good. I liked the way that the Rocks pirates were introduced. Overall, I just think the paneling was pretty good in this chapter. So yeah, it was a great chapter. Fantastic chapter. I loved it. 10 out of 10. But that is the end of the video, so if you did enjoy this video, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and leave a comment down below. I did that in the wrong order, but does it really matter? Because we're aiming for 500 subs by the end of the year, and any help in that goal would be much appreciated. But again, that is the end of the video, so that is all from me, and goodbye to you lovely, lovely people.